Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show. Lots of interesting stories to talk about in today's video. Some stories that are just absolutely bizarre and quite funny, if I was really to be honest. Obviously, we've got a boost for Matthijs de Ligt. I'm going to talk about the de Ligt injury news. But apparently, Klopp turns down United job. Man United approach Klopp. Is that agent talk? Is that real? Ndiaye wants Manchester United move. Man United want Alexis McAllister. Liverpool could cash in on Alexis McAllister in the summer. We're going to talk about that, my thoughts on that, if it will happen. Would Man United do business with Liverpool for the first time in 62 years? I mean, it's due time for us to do a bit of business in Liverpool, but it just does not happen for politics. And we're going to talk about that, a few other stories going about. We've been linked to the likes of Metro. We'll talk about midfield. We'll talk about other transfer links, the title race, changes that Carrick has made to the academy, how Ratcliffe has upset the Glazer family, and more. There's quite a bit to talk about in today's show. So if you do enjoy today's live show, feel free to hit that like button. And of course, you're welcome to subscribe down below if you're new. We're going to dive into all the news. But of course, first things first, how are you guys doing? How has your day been? And all of that as well. Jacka, says, Ndiaye is my dream left-wing target, such a good baller. Everton would probably demand a lot, though he's not worth more than Semenyo. I agree. I know Ndiaye's played right-wing this season, but I do actually think he's better on the left. I do think he's a baller. I think Everton will charge a fortune. Do you remember they wanted like 70 million for Braithwaite 2 years ago, and he's barely played since? They will want more from Ndiaye, but he's not as good as Semenyo for me. And if Semenyo is 65 million, then I want Ndiaye for 60 million. But then you could say, well, if Gittins is 55 million, Madueke is 52 million, Halanga's 50 million, then Everton are well within their rights to want 75, 80 million for Ndiaye. I probably wouldn't want to spend more than 70 million on him, but they're well within their rights. I think for me, he's probably better on the left. I know he's played mostly on the right this season, and I think he's a baller. I really do. And I think we will be in for him. They could ask. I think they will want over 60 million, Everton. They will look at the likes of Madueke and Gittins and Elanga, and they'll know Ndiaye is good. I think you could argue with Cunha being around 62 million. That's quite a fair price for Ndiaye in the summer. It also depends on the competition. I think City, now they've got Semenyo, probably won't be interested, but Arsenal could look at him, Tottenham could look at him, and of course that can drive the price up. But yeah. Who do you want from Liverpool? Well, the guy on the thumbnail, McAllister. We've actually had a very long-term interest in Alexis McAllister, by the way. So I get into the McAllister news, then we'll get into the Jurgen Klopp story, then we'll get into the Iliman and Ndiaye news. But Manchester United have liked McAllister for a while. I'm actually going to go and try and find something I found on him. Bear with me. So back in the summer of 2023, we were linked to McAllister a lot, and then we opted to go for Mount over McAllister. It was said on April 22nd, 2023 by Romano that Manchester United remain keen on signing Alexis McAllister and talks will take place soon. Romano said that Alexis McAllister doesn't want to wait until July or August for a transfer. He wants to move as quick as possible, and that United remain interested in him. And that was obviously said 3 years ago, or just under 3 years ago, from Fabrizio Romano. So we obviously know that we really liked McAllister at the time. Now, obviously, there's a news report coming out, and it's come from the Daily Star. I don't think the Daily Star are particularly good, and I would say take anything the Daily Star says with a huge pinch of salt. I don't think they are a great outlet or a great source of information. But they are saying that Man United are considering making a move for Alexis McAllister from Liverpool as the club look to draw up a list of potential midfield targets. Look, I'm sure we like Alexis McAllister. I'm sure we do. I think he'd be a really good number 8. Alexis and Kobe is the 8 options, and bring in 2 6s, a top number 6 and a backup number 6, and that's a brilliant midfield rebuild. Like, ooh, Mike's falling over here, one sec. I'm sure we like Alexis McAllister. We've always liked him. We've always had interest in him. I know he's not been particularly good this season. I think last season he was phenomenal. I think he was team of the season last year for me. This season he's been pretty shocking. It definitely looked better recently, but he's just not really got going. So there's obviously a feeling, okay, Liverpool could look to move him on. They've not been impressed with him this season. However, he was very key in the title-winning season. He was very key the season before. You know, he's a very good player. But Liverpool aren't going to let him go to Man United. And he's realistically, I can't see McAllister wanting to go to Man United. First of all, if he's going to leave Liverpool, I think it would be to go abroad. Second of all, I can't see him leaving Liverpool to go to Manchester United unless he wants to spend time with bodyguards for the rest of his life. You saw the reaction when Trent went to Madrid. If Liverpool fans were crying like that at Trent going to Madrid, imagine what they do if Alexis went to Man United. Imagine what they do. It would be chaos. So, look, I am sure the Daily Star is right in the fact that we're probably like McAllister, but the Daily Star isn't a great outlet. It's not very reliable. They don't get much right. I'm sure Man United would like McAllister. I'm sure of that. I don't think Man United would even try and bother getting McAllister because I think the answer from McAllister would be no. And I think the answer from Liverpool would be absolutely go and F off. I think Liverpool wouldn't even answer the phone. Now, actually, they would. If we rung up Liverpool and we all of a sudden, I don't know, Jason Wilcox is on the phone FaceTiming Richard Hughes. So Richard Hughes, he opens up FaceTime. There's Jason Wilcox there for Man United. Jason Wilcox goes, we quite like McAllister. Richard Hughes isn't going to say anything. He's going to put his finger up at Jason Wilcox and then he's going to go boom and he's going to hang up. That's what will happen if we try to go to Liverpool about Alexis McAllister. Now, maybe if we called out Liverpool and we went, we're going to give you 200 million for Alexis McAllister, they'd then say, you know what, we'll pack his bags and we'll drive him to you. But that would be incredibly stupid of us to pay 200 million for Alexis McAllister when Liverpool spent him for 100, when Liverpool's got him for 35 million. For me, Alexis McAllister for 50 million, brilliant business. But unless we were going to pay something ridiculous like 150 plus million, which he's not worth, I think Liverpool would just stick their middle finger up us. I honestly think they would. Daily Star is a comic. It's pretty crap. Ineos don't know what they're doing if it's true. I mean, if they actually do try and go for a Liverpool player, it just wouldn't happen, would it? It just doesn't happen. I don't want McAllister. I want 2 number 6s and an 8. McAllister's more of an advanced 8 in a midfield 3. He's played there at Brighton. That was his best role. I actually agree with you with the advanced 8. I think that is his best role. I think he's better than Mount, though. I think if Mount went, it is a Mount replacement, but it's just not going to happen. Look, I'm going to show you something about Man United and Liverpool. Now, first of all, people keep saying, why would McAllister want to downgrade? First of all, it would be a huge upgrade for McAllister, as you can see. But let's actually give you context for this. The last time we did business with Liverpool was Phil Chisnell leaving Man United for Liverpool in 1964. I wasn't born in 1964. Many of you guys were not born in 1964. My parents weren't even born in 1964. 62 years ago was the last time we did business with Liverpool directly, and that was Phil Chisnell leaving Man United for Liverpool. No Liverpool player's gone directly to Man United, vice versa, since. Now, you could say, Michael Owen, he went Liverpool, Real Madrid, Newcastle United. Paul Ince, he went Man United into Liverpool. No one's gone directly between the clubs. We've done direct business with City. We've done direct business with any club but Liverpool in 60 years. You see Chelsea, Arsenal, their rivalry over there, they're always giving players to each other. We're not like that with Liverpool. It is like, if you go from one to the other, you're going to need bodyguards. You're going to need bodyguards. It's the politics. People go Man United, Liverpool's a forced rivalry. Excuse me. I saw someone say it was TikTok. They probably wanted engagement bait. Man United, Liverpool's a forced rivalry. They don't care. Man United fans were cheering on Man City to win the league because we hate Liverpool that much. Man United's rivalry with Liverpool is another level. Look at Chelsea and Arsenal giving each other players. No, our rivalry with Liverpool is different. Like, that's why there's not been a deal in 60 plus years. That's why it's a death wish for the player. Honestly, Man United have got some Liverpool players same other way around, yeah, but never directly. Just don't continue with the conversation. We never buy off Liverpool. And we never can get our own players. I mean, yeah, it just wouldn't happen. Imagine if it did happen, though. Mate, this would be the worst thing this could be the worst thing that could ever happen. This wouldn't happen, but imagine. I saw some Liverpool fans saying they'd swap McAllister for Maino. Man, it's got to be the funniest story. I'm just thinking though, like, it's not happening, but imagine the outrage. Imagine the outrage from Liverpool fans. Now, some Man United fans would be like, you play for Liverpool, I don't want him. I don't care if he plays for Liverpool or not. If he's a good player, I want him. We need midfielders. And do you know what would make me want McAllister more? Is the Liverpool tears. It's never going to happen, but just imagine the outrage and the reaction from Liverpool. Like, we saw them crying over Trent going to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid isn't even a rival. We saw the ratty. Oh my! Imagine if he came back to Anfield next season in a Man United shirt like that. That would be one of the maddest scenes in football. It actually would be. I almost kind of want it to happen just to see the Liverpool fan outrage. Just to see the Liverpool fan outrage. I almost want this to happen. I mean, I would love McAllister for the right price. I ain't gonna lie, but it's probably not gonna happen. Now, talking to Liverpool, I quite like this man. A lot of people say I don't want a Liverpool legend at Man United. I think he's a good manager. He's annoying because he's done well at Liverpool. I'd happily take Jurgen Klopp at Man United. I don't care that he managed Liverpool. I don't care that Pep managed City. You know, Conte's gone to every club in Italy and then won them all the league. You know, if an elite manager wants to come to Man United, hello. Apparently, Jurgen Klopp turned us and Chelsea down. I'm sure he did. Well, I'm not shocked at this. I'm sure if we went for him, he did. I don't think we've gone for Klopp. We went for Klopp before he went to Liverpool, and he said no because he didn't want to work with the Glazers. And you know what? Fair enough. I have respect for Klopp for rejecting us. Klopp rejected us before he went to Liverpool because he saw our owners, he saw Ed Woodward, and he went, hell no. And I have respect for Klopp for actually doing that because he's got some brains. Just a shame that he had to go to Liverpool and win stuff with them. Apparently, he turned down Man United and Chelsea. I'm sure Man United and Chelsea thought about him. I don't think Man United even bothered going for him. I think they knew that he would never come to us. But that's what Paul Joyce says. However, Man United and Chelsea have denied that they had any contact with Klopp's agent. So maybe Klopp's agent is making this up to make Klopp look better. I don't know. Maybe we went for Klopp. Maybe his agent's making stuff up. Who knows? I don't know. Like, I feel like it'd be a bit of a waste of time going for Klopp because you know that he's going to say no. Apparently, he doesn't even want a new job. There's talk he could go to Real Madrid. Who knows? Alice, what are your thoughts on the comments and apology from the owner? I mean, was it even an apology? It was more, what I said, I probably said it the wrong way. Sorry if I offended you. I meant it like this. That's what Jim Ratcliffe basically said. It wasn't even an apology. It was a sorry for those who got upset. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like this. I still think this way, but should have said it better. That's essentially what Jim Ratcliffe said. It wasn't an apology. Basically, what happened was Jim Ratcliffe said that. For some reason, he said what he said. I don't know why he said what he said. Like, you know, political opinions aside, because some people agree with him, some people disagree with Ratcliffe. Yeah, I'm not interested in talking about the politics side of it. If you own a football club, why are you talking about immigration? What does it have to do with Man United? What does it have to do with the interview you did? And what did you think you were going to achieve talking about it? Well, like, Ratcliffe was never going to achieve anything from talking about immigration. So what on earth was going on in his head for the first place to make these comments? I will never know. Second of all, if you say something controversial as a businessman, it can affect your sponsors. Sponsors are a big way of income at Man United. So stupid in that sense to even take that risk. Third of all, he's upset the Glazers, he's upset the fans, he's upset a lot of people, he's got people ringing him up. It's not good for business. And then he gives an apology, which wasn't really an apology. He was just saying, well, I kind of meant it in this way. Maybe I used the wrong words. It wasn't even an apology. He's upset the Glazers. Not that I care about him upsetting the Glazers, but he's upset the Glazers. They're not happy with his comments. They're not happy that sponsors are not happy. It was just stupid. Like, I can't be asked to get into the politics on it. I've already done a video on it. But it's just like, what did Ratcliffe think he was going to achieve? Like, that is my honest thoughts from his interview. Like, what did he think he was going to achieve? I mean, he needs some media training. Honestly. I mean, yes, going back to Klopp. Look, I take Klopp at Man United, but there's no way that Klopp's going to come to Man United. News in a couple of days' time, Tottenham and Man City are linked to Ahmad. Tottenham will probably look at Ahmad. but they won't get him. They've got Kudus, but he's injured. Tottenham probably need another top winger. They could look at Ahmad. Apparently they like Cervinho. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, City don't need a right winger. They've got I guess they might see Cherky to go central because Foden's kind of been crap lately. I wouldn't like that. I mean, Ahmad's not going anywhere. Ratcliffe has a lot to prove at United, yeah. I mean, Ineos are all this talk and we haven't approved yet, so they've got to prove a point. I noticed with some fans support 5 or 6 teams, I can only support 1, no distractions or bittersweet days. You're only Man United, best way to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand people that support multiple teams. There's teams that, like, I would want to do well, but Man United's the only team I support and follow. Like, I was born in Cambridge, so I would root for Cambridge United to win if I was watching them play, but I don't follow them. Do you know what I mean? I don't follow them. There's teams I have soft spots for. There's teams where I like the manager, I like this player. You know, if I knew someone playing for a team, of course, I'd want that team to win. But the only team I support is Man United. I know some people that they're like, I support Man City, Barcelona. And I'm just like, I feel like you can only support one team. Obviously a national team, but one team. And then I think it's all right to have a second team, you know, particularly if you're from, you know, like I know someone that's from the Czech Republic, but they live in England and they have their Czech team and their English team. I think I understand that to an extent, but I don't get people that have like 4 or 5 teams. I just don't get it. Like, I like watching Barcelona. I don't support them. I don't really care if they win or lose. Man United's the only team that would impact my emotions if we win or lose. Like, and England if it's an international tournament to an extent, yeah. I only have a soft spot for teams with United Academy kids on loan, like Bristol City in the Championship. Yeah, I get that as well. Like, for me, if there's a Man United player, academy player on loan, playing for a club, I want that club to win. When Ahmad went to Sunderland, I wanted Sunderland to win the playoffs and go up, for example. You know, I was really happy with Ahmad at Sunderland, etc. Let the Glazers and Eos fall out. I mean, apparently there's a lot of rumours behind the scenes that it's not a good relationship. I read somewhere, and I don't know how true it is, but it was basically, I'll see if I can find it actually. What was said? Because it was said I think it was said today, or maybe it was said yesterday. But it was about the let me find it. Oh yeah. So this is it. So this came from Dan Rowan of BBC Sport today, by the way. And he said, Ratcliffe has always spoken highly of the Glazer family, describing them as the nicest people on the planet last year. I mean, greediest people on the planet would have been a more accurate description from Ratcliffe. But this is what Dan Rowan of BBC Sports said. He said, but according to a source familiar with them, the club's majority shareholders will have been horrified was the word used, by his initial remarks and will have seen them as showing disregard for their ownership. He said the Glazers whose grandparents were Lithuanian Jewish immigrants to the US are yet to comment on the episode. So the Glazers' grandparents were immigrants to the US. I'm assuming that might have been the time of World War II then. But sources believe a key reason they have supported inclusive initiatives such as All Red Equal at the club is because they see it as a brand to be nurtured and heavily commercialized, and they will have taken a dim view of remarks that could make sponsors reconsidering partnering with United. So they're saying that the Glazers aren't happy with the comments because of their immigrant background, but also from a business perspective, they're not happy with the comments. You know, Man United owners know that, you know, for business and sponsorship reasons, you need to support this, and this because you will make less money from that. And obviously Ratcliffe's comments go against that. So that was what was said by Dan Rowan of BBC, but there's also been reports of the Glazers not being happy with what Ineos had done, the Glazers wanting Amrin sat sooner and more. There's been lots of reports on it. I mean, I don't think it was ever going to affect our sponsorships, but because you've got to think about Newcastle's owners and how controversial they are, and City's owners and their 115 charge and how controversial they are. I think if Ratcliffe making those comments meant that we got stripped of sponsors, but Newcastle never got stripped of sponsors for things their owners had done, and City never got stripped of sponsors for things their owners had done. I don't see a world where that happens, and I don't think that his comments would affect our sponsorships, but it can. It can. If you say things that is going to upset a lot of people, sponsors may go, you know what, I don't want to associate with that club anymore because the owners are knobhead. And I think that's what the Glazers were worried about, because they got a lot of emails, they got a lot of fans upset, they got a lot of sponsors messaging them saying, I think what's really upset people was the word colonised was a very bad word to use to describe the situation. And obviously that upset a lot of people. So there was a risk, like even with the Greenwood situation, if we go back to that, bringing Mason Greenwood back was always going to risk sponsors as well. That one, I think bringing Greenwood back was a lot more riskier than because a lot of I think when Man United considered bringing Greenwood back, because I think John Murtough wanted to do it and Eric Ten Hag wanted to do it. I think Man United originally did want to bring Greenwood back, according to some people. But there was such controversy. Apparently, there was players in the men's team that said they didn't want Greenwood back. There's obviously players in the women's team that felt uncomfortable about it. But there was members of staff that also were upset about it. And then there was comments that sponsors did not like this and all of that. And I think that's why we obviously went and let Greenwood go to Getafe. You know, United, when they make a lot of decisions, go, sponsorships. Like, we almost signed an Arnautovic. We almost signed an Arnautovic on loan, I'm going to say in 2022, and I think we got Weghorst instead. And we were really close to getting an Arnautovic. A couple of fans were upset. And then it brought to light some comments that Arnautovic had made in the past. And then that would have impacted sponsorship. So that's one thing that Man United look at, is they care about commercial money, and they care about keeping fans happy, because they don't want to lose money. They don't want to lose sponsorships. But I didn't think we were going to lose sponsorships. But if Ratcliffe kept going on and making comments like that and went full Tommy Robinson mode, it's, you're at risk potentially. You're at risk potentially. It's an interesting thing, though. Does his position mean he shouldn't share his opinion? It's just more that his opinion has nothing to do with Man United Football Club. He's the owner of Man United Football Club, so he represents Man United Football Club. So I think for him to be online saying political things when he's being interviewed about Man United that have nothing to do with Manchester United, that would upset Manchester United fans and be controversial, just isn't a smart thing to do. I don't want to I can't bother to get into the politics of it. Some people agree with him, some people don't agree with him. But from a just looking at it perspective, it's just a stupid thing to do and say. I want to get into a few other stories. I want to get into news on Ligt, and I want to get into news on Ndiaye, and then we will head back into the chat and convo. So Iliman Ndiaye was asked what his favourite stadium was, and he said, favourite stadium I played in is Old Trafford. The atmosphere, the side, when we were growing up, that was the stadium you want to play in. He was sort of asked about Man United, and playing at Old Trafford was his dream, and his favourite thing to do was play at Old Trafford. Also, they beat us, and we were absolutely horrific. The last time Ndiaye was at Old Trafford, that was an awful game. But there is a feeling internally inside Man United that Ndiaye would be open to the move and that we could get him. Man United, and I've heard this from quite well-connected people, Man United aren't worried about Ndiaye not wanting to come. They're worried about the price tag Everton put on him. Man United like Iliman Ndiaye. Man United have interest in Iliman Ndiaye. Man United believe that Iliman Ndiaye, like Mbeumo, like Cunha, more than happy to come. If we could get something agreed with him, he'd turn down other clubs to come to us. Man United believe Iliman Ndiaye wants to move. What Man United are concerned about is, what are Everton going to ask for? 2 years ago, they wanted us to pay, 70 million for Branthwaite, who's played about 5 games in the last 2 years. He's forever been injured. Richarlison went for over 50 million. It's the money that they will want. That's what it is. But it's believed that Ndiaye himself would want a Man United move. Other updates coming in involve Matthijs de Ligt. It was said that de Ligt has set his sights on a return to action next month, and that was said by the Sun Football. There's a feeling that de Ligt should be back from injury in March. I think de Ligt got injured in November. We were told it's a little injury. He'll be back soon, thinking he'll be back in December. And he's been out all the way to March. And obviously he's not going to run in and get back in the team right away. I think it will be Maguire and Martinez till the end of the season. De Ligt maybe with a few opportunities here and there. But I think if Maguire and Martinez are fit and we've got 1 game a week, I just see that being the partnership to the end of the season. Just reading some stuff here. Alice, where was Rashford for Barcelona tonight? He wasn't in the squad. I'm assuming he's ill or injured. I don't know. I haven't followed the news on Rashford. But apparently a lot of Barcelona fans are saying the last 2 games without Rashford's been awful. I mean, but Barcelona has lost back-to-back domestic games for the first time, and this is the first time Rashford's missed back-to-back games for Barcelona. So I don't know where Rashford is. Maybe he's injured, but a lot of Barca fans are saying they miss him. What's this mean? Don't know what this guy means. Alice, do you think we could get Lamine Yamal? No. What kind of stupid question is that? No, we're not getting Lamine Yamal. Unless Barcelona went bankrupt and had to sell him, and all of a sudden we were the richest club in the world, maybe, but probably not. I would personally rule out Ligt for the rest of the season. I think that's a fair thing to say, to be honest. Barca lost to Girona and now trail to Real Madrid in La Liga, so big blow there. I repeat, I do not want any Liverpool players, which is fair, but I'm not going to lie. I take Gravenberch, I take McAllister, I take Soboslai. I'm not going to lie, they're good players. But take Ekatike as well. But yeah, let's round up the show here, people. Big up everybody for tuning into today's live show. I hope you did enjoy today's live show. I will be back tomorrow with more content. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Just thought I'd do a little evening live show discussing the news. I'll be back tomorrow. See you next time. Bye.